Welcome back to Dan's Messy Garage. This is going to be part 16 of putting a 302 and a C4 into a 67 Falcon. Today is going to be a new distributor day. This is a high-tech distributor, Aggression Ignition. It's a fully programmable unit that you use your cell phone or laptop to program. It has the electronic ignition module in there, and you tailor make your timing curve to whatever you deem necessary or fit. It has a vacuum port here on the bottom that runs to manifold vacuum. It reads vacuum, RPM, and then you set the timing the way you want. Got a pin number. Got to go with that app. Don't lose the pin number, it says there. First thing is going to be to take the old one out. Of course, this is all in here temporary. It had an MSD box that was just lying on the fender, and the coil wasn't mounted to anything. It was just kind of resting in the intake area. I'm going to take all that out. Take all the wires off. Now I have one of these ignition systems, 68 Mustang, and I think it's fantastic. I like being able to set the idle timing, watt timing, cruise timing, heavy load, low vacuum timing, everything with the app. I'll get this out of the way. From there, move that plug. All right, just gotta take that distributor clamp out of there. Pull the distributor. Time lapse time. Okay, what I did first is I was measuring the distance from the block surface underneath the gear of the distributor to where the distributor mounts in the block. I did that in 3 places, and it was like 4.035-ish, give or take a few thousandths. Then I compared that dimension to the new distributor. Good to go. Now the engine is already pointed at 10 degrees before top dead center, and I dropped the distributor in on the oil pump dry shaft and set in a block. The distributor has these black areas marked out on it. You get the rotor lined up with the housing exactly on one of those black dots and tighten it down. That's an initial startup of 10 degrees before top dead center. You just make sure you mark where number 1 is, or going to be. Let me get a marker here. Do that now. So I know over there. It's where my number one wire goes. The wiring is simple to hook up. Just have 3 wires. Instructions are real clear on that. You know, there's like a coil and a 12 volt ground. Gray wire would be for the tack. Like a coil is going to mount over on the driver's side shock tower once I get my mounting bracket. But I reached out to Progression Ignition, sent them an email, told them about my channel, told them that I have one of their distributors in my other car, and I think it's wonderful. I want to know if they had any kind of discounts for a returning customer. And they gave me a huge, huge discount if I would mention this in a video, which I'm happy to do. This is the company. And once I get later more into this video, I'll show you the timing table and explain a little bit how that works. But thank you for Progression Ignition for giving me a huge discount on the distributor. And I hope I like it as much as I do the one in my other car. Okay, time to hook up the wires. That's easy enough. Now you need to run a vacuum line from the distributor right down there in the bottom. Goes up to the carburetor. I think this is the ported vacuum. If not, I'll move it over to that other side. Hook up some wires. Start it up. Now I already have the app downloaded for my other car. So I'm going to see if I can open that up and show you what that looks like. Maybe, maybe not, because my other car is not turned on. It's Progression Ignition. It's searching. And just show you a saved table that I have in there. So you can set rev limiters, and then vacuum is in kPa. Be nice if it was in inches, but it's not. Wide open or like 0, 1, 2 inches of vacuum, you at the top of the scale. Way down the bottom of the scale would be like when you let off the throttle and you get highest vacuum. It's going to idle somewhere over in here. You tell it how many degrees you want it to idle at. It's always going to start the car at 10 degrees, and then once it's running, it'll go to your preset value. Then the RPM is across the bottom here. You can set those values anywhere you like. See, I have mine spread out. It doesn't like all this is up to 2000 RPM. And then I got 36, 70, 53, and 7. But I wanted more control over the center portion of my timing, cruising around town. and that table's probably going to be way too aggressive for this engine, but it gives you an idea. And if you want to change something, let's say you want to change this area, you can increase it a little at a time, apply it, it'll send it to the distributor, and then you would save it. Save. I can't do this because it's not hooked to the car right now, but it's a nice, easily adjustable table, and I'll show you that more once I get things, so it'll start up tomorrow. Okay, this is the next morning. What I'm going to do today, while I wait for my coil mount to get here, I'm just going to hook this up temporarily and see if I can get it to start, the app to connect, and show you the timing table. First off, I gotta clear all this stuff out of here. Alright, now I have more room to work. I'm gonna get the instructions and verify the wiring. Just gonna hook it up temporarily, see if it starts. Okay, I got the instructions. It's very simple hookup. They have a diagram, black wire to ground, red wire to the coil and your ignition switch, and the orange or yellow wire, mine happens to be yellow, goes to the negative coil. Simple. I also got my iPad that I can use to show you the timing table easier than the screen of my cell phone. So this coil already has nuts on it. It says to use a coil that has less than 1 ohm resistance. This is a Pertronix Flamethrower 3. And this says 0.32 ohms. To me, that's less than 1 ohm. So you get a wrench, loosen these up. A nut driver would probably be easier. So red, positive, yellow, negative. I'm going to need to put this red wire from my ignition to here. So I got to put a connector on the end of that real quick. Coil bracket is supposed to be here between noon and 2. It's after 11 right now. Okay, plug in coil wire. Oh, guess I can let that sit there for now. And hook up a ground wire and a tack wire. Should be hooked up. I can turn the key on and get my laptop, my iPad fired up. I downloaded the app already. Pro Ignition. It's searching. I gotta turn the ignition on. I know I'm gonna need my PIN number to set this up. Let's see, connect, scan, 83757, connect, PIN, and see, generate table, 8 cylinders, idle speed, idle timing. You can see I was already playing with this. Got a rev ribbon set. Generate table. Okay, there's my table. What that's showing is a reflection. How's that? KPA or vacuum is on the left side going up and down. Wide open throttle would be down on the top of the screen. They had a little tiny chart in here explaining the difference. Okay. Watt, like 0 inches of vacuum is 101. That'd be watt. And we let off and coast, like 24 inches of vacuum would be 20 kPa. Idle, if it's idle and it's 17 inches of vacuum, it's going to be around 44. So it's going to idle in this area here. That is too much timing for what I want to do here, so I'm going to lower this. Okay. The area in the center here would be like your cruise area. And when you let off the throttle and get full vacuum, that's down at the bottom. Hit it, hammer it, wide open throttle, your watt is up on the top. I'm going to lower this watt a couple degrees for now. That should be good. And if I pick send, it should have sent that information to the distributor. Now you can also look at the gauges and it'll tell you, if I get my, hang on, let me get things set up here better. Okay, they're going to show you mile per hour. I don't have any kind of a sensor to show me that. RPM, timing, going to have the KPA and the vacuum numbers over there. That display will show both KPA and vacuum. What I'm going to do is hook up a timing light to the engine. Because before I sent the table to the distributor, I was supposed to start the car and verify 10 degrees timing. Okay, I can still do that. I just go back to the active table and I'll just change everything in here. There to there, edit, Set it all like down at 10. Send it. That's sent it to the distributor. So now when I start it up until 1200 RPM, it's going to be 10 degrees. Well, in fact, I'll make that even higher. All the way up to 1600, it'll be 10. Send it. So now when I start it, it should try to run at 10 degrees. I don't know if I have. Find out if it'll start. It shows it's idling at 10. All right. I checked mine with a timing light. It's about 6 degrees. So I have to synchronize the distributor with the timing light. So I got to advance my distributor about 4 degrees. You only have to do this when you first start it up. I moved it a little. See if that's enough. And save table. This one. And I can get this set up more the way I want it. Send it to the distributor. So I'm going to change these to 12. 12. Okay, I'm going to lower my watt. See, I did this stuff before, but I didn't save it. I'm going to lower the watt to 34 and apply it. Now, when I go here and say save, it's going to want me to name it. I already got 302C4, save. Now, when I can send this to the distributor. Ouch. Connected. Save table, this one. Looks good. Whoops. Down here is send. Send. Okay. So now that's locked in the distributor. That's going to stay there until I make changes. You can take the power off. You can take the distributor out of the car, wait 2 years, put it back in, whatever you want. It's going to remember what you did. And I can go back at any time and change this stuff and resave it. That's what I did on my Mustang. I drove around. That's got a big cam in it and a big rear end, and engine doesn't make much vacuum at idle. So I had to do a lot of changing in the cruise portion of the chart to get it to where I like it. This should be good enough for the first drive, and I can adjust from there. Turn the ignition off. Well, I gotta see if the tach inside my car works. Yep. So I hope you enjoyed this progression ignition distributor kind of a tutorial, more of a how I do things, which may not be the way you do things. But I thank you for watching my channel. Please stay tuned for more videos on different projects, updates on this project, and everything in between. Dan's Messy Garage saying thank you very much. Progression Ignition. I'm sure I'm going to love your distributor. Just have to wait for my coil mounting bracket to arrive.